Well. Welcome to another exciting moment with your Crotchety Old Men podcast. Hi, I'm Gary Smith, one of the co hosts. And today with me, of course, is our main man, our leader and host, George Crumley. What's going on, Mr. Crumley?
What up, Doe?
Hey, you know how we do it in the D. What up, Doe, baby?
That's right. That's right. We
Yes,
got
sir.
everybody saying it
You know it all across the country.
all across the country.
Yeah, Detroit gets a lot of proper respect nowadays that we're winning. Got a football team that's kicking butt.
There you go. There you
Old
go.
Lions. So anyway, man, what's on the topic for today? What's up the list?
Well, Smitty, I mean, we got to stay right in line with what we've been doing, and that's to inform and educate our audience. So, today is no different. Jason Walker is our guest today, and he's bringing us some good information. He's what we call a strategic consultant, and
Yeah,
I was just thinking about something. I was like, you don't know what you don't know.
amen.
That is such a great saying because we shelter ourselves so much from a lot of information. So in this case today, we got Jason on. He's going to talk about the world of consulting and how it can benefit a lot of our audience. So without further ado, hey Jason, how you doing today?
Man, I am fired up,
I
excited
love
to
it. I love it.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me and having me on your podcast. And I can't wait to share, what a strategic consultant is, right? Just a little bit of background of me. I'm an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur. But I think my place in life is helping businesses grow and creating a strategy for them to grow. And one of the areas I like to play in is for, what we call idea stage startup businesses, because I see so many people who want to start businesses, right? But they got an idea, they got a product, or they may have a service, but they don't know how to get there, right? And so I came up with a formula, or should I say a process. You need to, business is really three things, right? Customers, marketing, and financials. I call it the CMF, right? Not CMB, CMF. And for all you old heads, y'all know what CMB is. Cash Money Brothers, right? So the CMF, customers, marketing, financials. And I always tell people, it's like, if you got a product or an idea, before you launch, before you invest a ton of money, see, does the market want your product? See, does the market want your service? I mean, get out there, do a pop up. Heck, I've had people just stand on a corner and say, "Hey, would you buy this for $5, $10, $20, or whatever," so that they can see whether their product or service has any traction in the marketplace, because the marketplace is brutal, right? You can have a great idea. And what I see often, and I've been training entrepreneurs and working with business owners for well over 20 years. And what I see is everybody gets what I call a new product or new service or launch their business fever. And they just jump out there, right? Without doing any marketing, which is the second point of the CMF, understanding the marketplace, understanding who their customer are, understanding heck, what even price point they should price at, right? And so that's what dooms a lot of businesses, that where people go into and say, "Hey, I'm starting a business, I'm going to live the life of luxury," but actually what their business turns into is a job. So you need to focus as a new business owner, and we can even tell you that goes for if you got already an established business and you're trying to grow the business. Who's the customer? Where's the market, and what are the financials around that, right? Because without those three, you just got a hobby. I would like to say, because if you don't know who your customer is, you don't know how to market to them, you don't know how to sell to them, you don't know where they're at, you don't know whether you should be on LinkedIn or whether you should be on Instagram, right? Or whether you should be on Facebook or whether you should be somewhere else on Twitter or something like that. And then the last piece is the money piece, because if you're not spending, especially as a startup or idea stage, or you're just launched, if you're not spending a good portion of your money on marketing, nobody knows about your product. Nobody knows about your service, right? So I call it, it's the CMF, where I always tell people CMF. And then the last thing I'll always tell people about businesses and things like that, and about their strategy, is you're in business to make money. Yeah, I know there's, we want, and I like I said, I've been dealing with entrepreneurs forever. Yeah, I know that they go, I want to, help my family. I want to build a legacy. I want to help my neighborhood. I want to help my community, especially black and brown folk, right? They always say they want to do it. And I tell them, like, look, the first thing is profit. Once you start making money, get the business, grow the business, get it to the level you need to get it to, then go back and help your family, then go back and help your community, then go go back and do the things that you want to do. But the strategy part of it is simple. It's just those three things. Find out who your customer is. Find out, the marketing. Marketing is such a broad term. That's everything from where you're at, where your customers, your competitors. Do you have the opportunity for growth and things like that? And then the last piece is the financials, and it's simple, right? Are you staying on top of your numbers? Are you putting enough money into your marketing to grow your business? Where most businesses go, well, I really don't have that much money. I really, especially if you're an idea stage startup, I really don't have the money to do that and things like that. But there are things you can do. Give you a case study. This is a true story, right? One of my former clients, she had a fitness gym. She opened her own gym and things like that. And she was like, Jason, I'm trying to grow my business, right? But I'm not sure, I want to offer some new services, some new training programs, but I'm not sure how to price them, right? So my advice to her was, what you need to do is figure out your customer. She's like, I know that. I know I want it to be executive women, professional women, so forth, so on, this age group, things like that don't have a lot of time to work out. So she had nailed that, right? And then the second thing I said, well, how you going to get them? She's like, I don't know where they're at, and I don't know how much to charge them. So I said, this is what you do. You go where I was like, where are they? They would be at places like, Lifetime Fitness, blah, blah, blah. This is in Detroit area, Lifetime Fitness and Southern Gym. So I said, this is what you do. Take a weekend, go out and stand in front of those places. And every woman you see who seems to fit that category, ask them a couple of questions. Hey, I'm a small business. Tell them I'm a small business owner. I'm trying to launch my business, grow my business. This is what I'm offering. This is how much I'm charging. And would you pay that? And I told her, I said, everybody that said yes and above, they're your customer. You got your price. Anybody that said below that, they're not your customer. And that's just long story short, she had within after doing that, like in 2 weeks, she gained 6 new clients just on doing that, just on that. So don't give me the excuse that it takes money to market your business. It does not. There's plenty of things you can do creatively to grow your business. So again, the CMF, customers, marketing, financials, period. You build your strategy around that. Heck, you build your business plan around that, and you will see so much success in your business.
Man, I would say drop the mic, but no, we got some more time on this segment, so you can't even drop the mic.
I can't drop
I
it.
was with
I
you
can't.
on that, Smitty. Yeah. He answered my first 3 questions before I ain't got them out.
Man, I'm sitting here taking notes, amen, and about to jump and shout. Brother, man, you took the whole thing. I had my little rhyme all together. I'm done. You have a mindset, don't buy then chill or start a business and chill. Because most people got that mindset that, okay, I'm going to get my own business and then I'll be able to chill. But no, you've taken that and flipped that around. No buy then chill. You buy then build your business. That's what
Exactly.
you're saying, man. And you laid out so many nuggets, Jason, that only question, well, I shouldn't say the only question, but what brings to mind is this, is that, I mean, you hit on all the bullet points, man. And what prompted you to create this business model to help and assist as well as encourage, I'm sure,
hmm
other small businesses? Can you address that?
Well, what? Well, like I said, I've been teaching entrepreneurship in some form of adult education, skills, learning. Man, got like 20 plus years, right? And as I started teaching more entrepreneurs and more idea and startup entrepreneurs and existing entrepreneurs, they were all trying to figure out like, how do I go to the next level? How do I get my business? And and I would just ask them some questions, and some of the responses I was getting, I was like, yeah, that's a great textbook response. Yeah, I can see you read that. You got that from Harvard Business Review. I get that, right? But and it was but it became a challenge to them because they couldn't grasp it. You couldn't wrap their arms around it, so to speak, couldn't wrap their minds around it. So I just broke it down, like I told you guys, like, look, let's strip away all the fluff. Let's strip away all the classes, all the things. You got to have all of this. You got to have all this in place. You got to buy Google AdWords and all that jazz. Let's strip it away down to the basics of what business is. Customers. You got to have a customer that's willing to buy your product, right? Marketing, you got to talk to that customer, right? And then financials. We all know this from all you guys, and I know you guys, you got to stay on top of your money and make sure your money is being spent the way it needs to be spent to grow your business. Forget all that, forget all that stuff about, oh, I want to get this big, huge building, and you don't even have any customers. So once I started connecting with the entrepreneurs on that level and saying, let's strip away all the stuff, let's strip away all the fluff, let's strip away all the things, I gotta sit down and really think about and say, let's focus on those three things, because all the rest of the stuff will fall into place. Because once you know who your customer is, you know how to market, you know how to develop, you know how to do the things that you need to do in order to grow your business. And then once you do that, then the financials make sense, right? Because, okay, if my customer is totally online, why do I need to spend money on a business? Or if all my customers are walk-in customers, why do I need to spend a ton of money online? So again, and I went around a long way to say, Gary, that just after talking and working with entrepreneurs over the years, I saw that they were getting bogged down in kind of the trees and the muck of just, and then just say, hey, let's pull back and just say, let's focus on those three things. And it's been working.
Man, all this stuff is really, really good. Hey, one of the questions I have, and most
Okay.
folks that want to start a business, they talk about the finances. How
Mhm.
do you get over that hurdle? If they have what seems to be a good product, but just don't have the finances to support their idea to get into the marketing and some of the other things.
Right. First thing, two quick statements or two quick answers to that. First thing I always say, you got you're gonna pull yourself up and make some sales, right? You're gonna have to get some traction, right? You're gonna have to say, I don't care whether you're at the fruit market, you're at a pop-up, you're doing something on, if you guys a clothing business or whatever, you're doing some stuff on TikTok, on social media, and just selling some few things so that you can get some revenue, because lenders love businesses that are generating revenue, right? And then the second thing is, just we'll take a little bit longer here, because I play in this area as well, is that you got to go to the right lending institution. Right, because you got what we call, you guys know this, you got what we call traditional lending, which is the banks, credit unions, and then you got your non-traditional lending, which I want to encourage a lot of small business owners is to check out their CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution. Those are lending institutions that they're not so concerned about your credit score. They're not so concerned about your past credit history. They're more concerned about your impact on the community. Where are you going to bring jobs? Do you fit their lending model? Because a CDFI, their whole goal is to grow the community. So, and I've seen people with who started businesses and things like that, who have bankruptcies on their record, right? But their product or service was good. You still got to have a good business. You still have got to have a good product. You still got to have a good service. It still has to make sense. But I've seen individuals where what they say, not less than stellar credit, get the financing they need to launch their business. And most business owners, just a real quick sidebar, most business owners, they really don't need 100,000. They really
Mm.
only need like maybe 20, 25. But to Gary's point, people think, well, if I get $100,000, I can just sit back and go like this. No, no, no. That's just the beginning, my friend. So yeah, so for people who are just starting out, I would say, if you're having trouble with the traditional lenders, look for your CDFIs. And if you're in the if you're in the Detroit area, there's things like Prosperous Us, there's things like Michigan Women Forward, that's like Detroit Downtown Development Association. All of those areas, Tech Town, all of those CDFIs, and they lend from 5,000 to several million. So again, and again, that's if you have less than stellar credit, because the bank, all they're looking at is the numbers. Dude, what's your credit score? What what's your profit and loss? What's your debt? Things like that. Whereas the CDFI, and the beauty of a CDFI is, if you're not quite ready, they will connect you with a person within their organization to get you ready, whether that's financial coaching, whether that's business coaching. I work with a lot of CDFIs, whether that's you need some training or whatever that is. So so here's my plug for CDFIs, especially in the Detroit area, because I'm really familiar with them. That there, if you have less than stellar credit, that I will look at that way.
Definitely. And see, all that falls back into my original statement. What you don't know what you don't know, and
Right.
a lot of the agencies that you just spoke about, a lot of people probably don't know. They probably stop at the first two, like you said, regular financial banks and credit unions. And after that,
Mhm.
they can't get it, and they tuck their tail and they run to the other side because they feel like there's no other way. So let me ask you this. So if you have an individual that has an idea and they want to come to
Mhm.
you, do you request that they have a business plan already written out? Is that necessary? Is that helpful?
It's
Required?
helpful. Well, here's the thing. You only need like a traditional business plan if you're going to seek financing. Right? You need, if you say, okay, I'm gonna self fund, I'm gonna bootstrap or whatever, I'm gonna use friends and family or whatever. You need what I call a slice of the business plan, which is like a growth plan. Still a lot of the same components, but it's more so based off of, hey, this is where I am, this is where I'm trying to go. And whereas a traditional business plan, if you're going to talk to a CDFI or you're going to talk to a bank, yes, you need a traditional plan. For me, uh, prefer to have them have a business plan because that helps tailor the conversation as opposed to someone who says, "Hey, I just got an idea," because I've had those type of people. And that I'm not in the business of telling you how to do your business, right? You should at least have some idea and some knowledge about what you want to do, how you want to do it, and where you want to do it at, right? And so, is it a requirement? To answer, is it a required? Do I require you to have a business plan? I would say no, but you best have business plan knowledge in your head that we can get out your head onto paper.
Okay, that's a good answer. And like you say, it's not the same for everybody. And like you say, you're going to
Right.
run across some people that are already in business that's trying to get to the next step, and then you get
Right.
individuals that are just starting out all together. So I
Right.
got to ask you this. So I understand you being in Detroit and whatnot, but there's going to be people hearing this all over the country. So if they want to get in touch with you to find out, if there's a match, or you can help them obviously, so that you can add them to your base, how would they do that?
Where they can just email me, right, at Jason Walker at LajaConsulting.com. And there's Jason Walker full name at LAJAconsulting.com. And I can send you guys that. Well, you guys already got my email address. And or they can just call me at 248-910-8030. And unfortunately in 2024, like everybody else, I'm always on, right? The phone never sleeps, seems like, and the emails never stop. So yeah, just shoot me an email and we'll have a conversation. I'll send out my link to schedule a quick 30 minute discovery call, and then we'll go from there.
That's interesting. So, do you have ebook, or are you got a website? Obviously, you said.
Mhm.
So, what else do you have that people can kind of take a look at to kind of get an idea before they talk to you as to how they should lead the conversation?
Well, I don't want them to lead the conversation. I want them to just check me out on LinkedIn. You check me out on LinkedIn, Jason Walker, and things like that. And go to my website or call me and things like that. Now, like I said, I'll send you my calendar link so that you can book a discovery call for me. Because what I come to find out, because like I said, I've been in this game a long time, is that there are a lot of preconceived notions that people have about business and what they need to do. And what actually they don't need to do that. Right. And they actually, like, for example, there's one young lady I was talking to, and she was telling me how she needs to, invest in this business, invest in the building, invest in all this new equipment, but so that she could start her business. And I was like, after listening to her about 10, 15 minutes, I was like, no, you don't need to do that. You need to first do X, Y, and Z so that you can start generating some revenue. And then we could look at potentially doing what you need to do and things like that. So I want people to just come with an open mind and come ready to listen and come ready to exchange ideas and come with and drop all your preconceived notions about what it takes, because there's a gazillion ways to get to profitability. And if you're just stuck on one, I might not be a good fit for you, because I'm going to challenge you to think outside the box and think differently, as opposed to, I'm gonna purchase all these ads and things like that on LinkedIn and Google and things like that, and that's gonna drive revenue. And people get shocked when I tell them. I was like, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. I always tell them and say, their job is to sell you their ads. Their job is not to grow your business. They go, what? What? I was like, yeah, that's their revenue. You are their customer, not the other way around. So that's why I always tell people, just come with an open mind, just come ready. If you have specific questions, bring it, but let's just come with an open mind and let's just have a discussion so I can see exactly where you're at and exactly where you want to go.
Amen. Amen. So, Jason, what I'm hearing you say is that an idea without any money is not going to work, right? That's like a
Right,
dream. Okay.
right.
Because, you probably done ran across maybe one or two of these type people who think you can start a business with no money down. You get all that garbage on YouTube and from some of these other so-called gurus out there thinking that you can go from wealth to millions of dollars with zero money. So,
No,
how
doesn't
can
exist.
it does not exist. Okay. And we want to put that nonsense to bed. All right.
Mhm.
From real estate to buying companies, all that zero money down and all that craziness, throw that out the window. Okay.
Right.
And like you said, come with an open mind. Man, I'm so glad you came on today. Keep talking.
Right.
I don't want
Right. Well,
to.
just to add to that, right? Because I see all those things on too, because I'm on social media. I'm like, it was like, start a business with no money down. I'm like, how do you do that? Right. So let's take it to the basics. You got to pay, anywhere from 50 to $100 just to get your business name, right? The LLC. So there you go. So that ends the no money down argument, right? You got either you're gonna build your own website or pay somebody to do your website. So there's money out the door. So you have to do like most people do, and like I did when I first started out. You worked an 8-hour job or a 10-hour job, and then your other 8, 10 hours was on your business, right? And you use the money that you can scrape from your 9 to 5 to do the stuff with your business. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that either, Gear, where they say, well, you can start a business, no money down, and within 2 years you'll be making $100,000. There's going to be some money somewhere. You're going to have to plant some money somewhere in order to get your business off the ground. Not saying that you have to plant a lot of money. You don't have to do, because there's plenty of ways you can do things economically and effectively, but $0, I don't see where. I've never seen it. Even if I say, okay, Gary, me and you we're gonna sell microphones, right? Okay, how we're gonna do it? Okay, we first got to get an LLC. That's $50 right out the gate, right? So there it is. So yeah, I'm total agreement with that.
That's a good point. Let's talk about that just a second.
Okay.
So I know there's a lot of folks out here right now that, I don't want to work in corporate America. I want to start, my own business, but then they don't know what business they want to get into. So what type
Very
of advice would you give those individuals?
those individuals, I would say, and I come in, and George, I come across a lot of those as well. I would say, I always ask, what do you like? What do you enjoy doing? And what would you get paid? What would you do for free? Right? Because in business, as you guys know, there's going to be some lean months, right? There's going to be some months where there's no more money coming in, but bills are still have to be paid. So what would you do for free? So I would say, find your interest. I mean, even if it's a fleeting interest, like say, well, I'm interested in clothing, or I'm interested in art, design, whatever, and explore those type of businesses and those type of industries, because what people don't realize, there's we'll just use this industry, just more than clothes, than just selling the clothes, right? There's manufacturing, there's raw materials. You can fit in any one of those buckets, with just an interest in clothing, right? Or you could be on the way other end, and all you're doing is just marketing it, right? You just, hey, hey, I like these clothes. I know plenty of entrepreneurs. Matter of fact, I got a friend. All she does is she buys clothes, that has her little social media account, buys clothes and resell them. She doesn't design, anything like that. And so there's plenty. So find out what you like and what you don't like, which is key. And find out who you, and I know this is such a nebulous term, but find out who you are, right? Because what people don't recognize is business is very methodical, right? Every day, turn the lights on, do this, do that, do this. That's every day. And if you're not that type of person, right, maybe starting a traditional business is not for you, and that's all right. Right, you could become a freelancer, you could become a consultant, you could become, so that you're constantly interested and you're constantly motivated to do what you do. That's why you see people burn out in business, because they realize that, yeah, I love to bake, but I don't want to bake 10,000 cakes a day. Right? I love to do this, but I don't want to do 10,000 a day after day, week after week, month after month. So find out who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and and I call it, find out your rhythm. Right? If you got a methodical, some people are very methodical. They don't mind, they eat the same stuff every day, they do the same stuff every day. That's I that's why I tell people, in the beginning, you're an entrepreneur, right? Because you're full of ideas, you see opportunities, you're flying high, you got business fever. And then, but at some point, you transition into a business owner, to where you're no longer doing all that entrepreneurial stuff. You're looking at the numbers, you're running reports, you're dealing with customers, you're dealing with employees and things like that. And so you've made the transition into business owner. And what happens is, a lot of people find out that they enjoy being an entrepreneur, but they hate being a business owner, right? Because that's routine. That's okay. We got a 9 o'clock staff meeting on Mondays, and then on Tuesdays we got this. That's routine. And as you guys can see, I'm not really a business owner, right? Because that is not my thing, right? Let's do something different every day. And if you're not that, you know, don't do that unless, and here's the thing, it was just probably a whole nother conversation, to run a successful business and not buy a job. Because most entrepreneurs who turn into business owners, they bought a job where they got to be there 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You got, at the beginning, when you're coming up with the idea and things like that, at some point in that early stage, you should be talking about, okay, what processes and procedures I'm going to implement to run my business. And I think Gary says this, in case I get hit by a bus. Because if you get hit by a bus, if you get hit by, not even something as crazy as that. What if you get sick for a couple of weeks?
Mm.
Does the business stop? Does the money stop? And I was saying 95% of small businesses, yes, the money stops because the business is dependent upon the individual. So, sum that up, find out what you like, find out what interests you, make sure what your rhythm is, and then if you're going to still do it, make sure at the beginning in your idea stage, startup stage, and as you're trying to figure things out, make sure you start implementing process and procedures so that if you want to take, God forbid, a day off, the business continues to run without you. Your employees or whomever can go, okay, here's what we're supposed to do today. And real quick, all my business owners who think they want to do a franchise and want to turn their business into franchise, you got to have that now. Not when you're thinking about franchising. You got to have that. You got to have those processes and procedures because anybody who's ever dealt with a franchise, you're not necessarily buying that business. You're buying that book to run the business, right? So there you go.
Man, this has been some great information. It definitely, hits our pillars, which is information, education, opportunity, and exposure. And I hope our audience, takes this to heart, and then sends you some business because you obviously have a lot of good information to share with folks. Because here again, I'm gonna say this will be a third time because you don't know what you don't know, and
Right.
and the best way to solve that equation is to get with somebody that does know, because there's a lot of opportunity out here. We miss it. We talk about what's not. We're always talking in the the lack and the not out here. But there's so much information out here that can help you get from point A to point B if that's what you truly want to do, and you have the desire and you have the fortitude to push yourself to do that, to make those sacrifices, because I've been in business. I've done the all those you just talked about, the franchise and the
Right.
the going from business to worker to the whole thing, to buying the houses and all that stuff. And it wasn't easy, but it was fun. It was beneficial, and it definitely met the need that I was trying to accomplish. So it's doable. You just gotta want to do it, and you got to seek out the information. What you
Exactly.
got, Smitty?
Well, one other thing I'd like to add to that is that you want to focus on what you're good at. What's your
Yep.
skill set? All right. Because you get into a business that you don't have enough competency to understand, and now you got to try to learn or get somebody to teach you. That's a learning curve that's going to cost you. All
Ooh,
right.
yep.
And so
Hmm.
that's a cost right there. And
Hmm.
so there's a cost to everything. Certainly there's a cost to profitability. And so if you buying a business or starting a business and you don't have the skill set to run that business and the skill set to identify efficiencies and processes and systems that's going to enable you to be able to have that business run on autonomy. Okay. If you got a
Hmm.
business and you can't be gone for 2 weeks without that business continuing to produce income, then you don't have a business. What you have is a job. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So let me
Exactly.
be
You've
clear.
created a
All right.
job. Exactly.
You all you did
Right.
was created a job for
Exactly.
yourself because
Right.
if that cell phone feels like a tether, then that's a job.
Hmm.
All right. So, but anyway, Jason, I'm so glad that you came on the show today, man. I mean, you dropped so many nuggets and stuff that shucks, people should be golden after the day, baby.
You
Right.
exactly.
And here's
Exactly. I
what I
mean,
would
you've
like you
given
to do.
a go ahead.
Before we close this segment, tell us again how you can be reached. Slow it down a little bit because I want people to get that phone number, be able to
Okay.
get your website and your information, okay, so they can reach out to you. All right.
Okay.
So once again, Jason, go ahead. Tell them how they can reach Jason Walker Consulting.
Okay, to reach me, email Jason Walker, just like you see on the screen, all one word, at lajaconsulting.com. Jason Walker at lajaconsulting.com. That's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me because I'm very responsive on email. I respond within 24 hours. Or if you're old school and you like to talk, you can call me at 248 888-910-8030. And like I say, my phone is always on. And you can go to the website at www.lajaconsulting.com. And there's a form you can fill out to contact me as well. And so, yeah, thank you guys for having me. This was amazing. I love it. I'm even more fired up now, right?
Amen. Man, you're blessed to help a lot of people, brother.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And
Yes,
so
thank
we
you.
always like to close our show out, with a little saying or what have you. And I think today's quote, if you will, of the day is very apropos, is that if you don't take a chance, you don't have a chance. Take a chance. For those who are in transition from a career to something else, take that chance, that dream that Jason is talking about, those ideas that you have stored away, that you've been sitting on and waiting till the right time. The right time is now. All right. Because if you don't do it now, later never comes.
Right.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Jason. And as we always say on the Crotchety Old Man, if you didn't know, now you know. All right,
I
guys.
love it.
Take care.
Okay,
Be
bye.
blessed.
All right.